Right now, I'm going to teach you a meditation for positive energy via playfulness exercise that's only 2 minutes, so you can finally stop stress and anxiety by taking positive and energetic control of your life. This meditation for positive energy technique is the 6th of 7 in this week's series. It's super simple and you will know how well it works for you straight away. After the 2-minute meditation for positive energy, I'll also outline how to not take your work pressures and anxieties home with you, a playful perspective change to help you put babies and kids to bed, and guide you in integrating everything you learned today in a special finale exercise. I'm Speed Psychologist and best-selling author Aleks George, and we're now in session. First, give yourself a current mood rating, 1 being very low to 10 being very high mood, and a second 1 being very low to 10 being very high stress/anxiety rating. Just go with whatever mood number or stress anxiety number that first comes to mind. Now, I need you to promise me that I will have your full attention and best effort for just 2 minutes, okay? If you are sure that you can do that right now, then get ready. Also, please note, make sure you are in a safe place, and if you feel unusually uncomfortable during any exercise, stop immediately and go have a drink of water. So, are you ready? Really? To feel better? Just 2 minutes from now. You sure? Great. Let's begin. Sit up tall, shoulders back, head up, and close or shield your eyes if safe to do so. Now follow my simple instructions. Breathe deep, be strong, focus all of your attention on relaxing into the rhythm and flow of these meditative rhymes that grow your playfulness. During this not so serious day, your way is that of play, to experience an enhanced reality of joviality. It is your energetically evocative, positive prerogative to be puckish and cheeky, feisty and sneaky, and just a little jestfully freaky. As you slowly enter through a creaky door, feet light on the floor and ready to pour your childlike essence into moments to adore. Explore and break rigid boundaries of bland pleasantries and truly greet and meet eye to eye, heart to heart, an impish smile to smile. Now allow an intense new insight, a life change for immediate use will come in 3, 2, 1. There it is. Greet and meet eye to eye, heart to heart, and impish smile to smile. That's right. That's right. That's it. We're done. Simple, right? Easy, hey? Feeling better? I'm sure. Really, check in now and review if your mood and stress anxiety scores have improved. If you gave me your full attention and best effort, then I bet they have. How much did they improve? 10%, 20, 30, 50 or more? And in just 2 minutes? If your scores didn't improve, that's okay. You may just need a few more repetitions or may find it easier to benefit from a different 2-minute brain exercise. I will release 7 related meditations over the week, and they're always just a couple of minutes. Each exercise builds on the last, and they become easier to do and more effective as you get used to them. Before we move on, I want you to really consider how your life could be better by consistently using these kinds of exercises. What would it be like to be in control and unaffected rather than being controlled by the news and social media, work bullies, and negative people? What would it feel like to have greater peace of mind and focus so you can perform at your best and feel good about who you are and what you do? In a moment, I'm going to answer 1 or 2 modern psychology questions from the community. To connect with me and the community, just go to 2minutebrain.com and join the email list. You can, of course, like, rate, subscribe, and follow me on this channel, but to enjoy free giveaways like my best-selling books and programs, which are only available to subscribers through the website, and to personally ask me and get an answer to your own important psychology question, it must be through my free-to-join email list. Questions like, has culture been built on a foundation of exploitation of both nature and people? I'll answer that in the next session. And then questions all the way back from the Meditation for Anxiety series, episode 6. Why has the pandemic had such a negative effect? And why does happiness never last? Both of those were answered back there. The only way you will be able to ask me your question is by reply emailing me once you're on the list. The sooner you join, the more bonus goodies you'll get, like early access benefits to the 2-Minute Brain app currently in development that takes exercises like the one you just experienced and connects them sequentially with others into fantastic brain-flowing peak performance experiences. It will allow you to become your own mental health and peak performance DJ. Sound good? Really good? Almost too good? Then go sign up now and get all the latest updates from the 2minutebrain.com email list. Okay, riddle me this, Bat Psych. What can I do to not take my work or work anxiety home with me? Well, the easiest way to answer this is to utilize the mentally cleansing benefits of meditation and to set boundaries that follow the start, peak, end rule. So the rule suggests that we most easily remember informationally and emotionally the start and end of a task most easily, along with anything that really stands out, a peak. So this could be a short task, even one that is highly informational, like remembering a list of words, all the way to a day at work, or even perhaps even longer, like trying to remember the events of a week. So let's give you a list of 20 words to try and remember. You will most easily remember the last ones, then the first ones, and any peak words, as in ones that stood out because they were in some way connected to you in a meaningful way. At the end of a week or a day, you're most easily going to remember how it ended, how it started, and any out of the ordinary events. So the way to not take work or work anxieties home with you is to set boundaries between the different tasks or places that follow the start, peak, end rule. In other words, you should do something either exciting or calming at these key points in your day. For example, when you go to work, the first thing you should do is complete a calming, like the ones I've taught before, like the ones last week, or energy enhancing meditation, like the ones I've been teaching this week, and even if you've only got 2 minutes, you can do that, obviously, before you start working, and again at the end of the working day as the last thing you do, and possibly one more after any out of the ordinary peak events, such as a calming meditation if a peak event was anxiety provoking, or an energy enhancing meditation after a positive event. Now, where you put the boundaries to create these emotional separations and practice these meditations is up to you. You should change the environment, even if slightly, whenever possible. You might meditate in the car park before you enter the building, or in the lunchroom, or somewhere other than your work desk before you start the day, and the same at the end. Or when you get home, you may first spend a couple extra minutes to meditate in a different chair, maybe even in the car. You sit in the passenger chair if you're always in the driver's chair, and meditate in the passenger's chair, or in the garden chair outside, or any chair in the house that's associated with relaxing and not working. So this way, you're creating a different prime, a different trigger for when to relax and when to settle. The aim is then, in the true spirit of mindfulness, is once you've done this, once you've settled yourself or enhanced yourself through one of these meditations, is you try and maintain it as long as possible. You keep practicing letting go of any unrelated work thoughts and anxieties as they keep coming up as you're home. So when working from home, it's even more important to create these kind of boundaries. You want to start, end, and follow any peak experiences, maybe in a different chair or another spot in the room, or even another room, than the one you work in. And of course, there must also be boundaries around the work itself, such as only answering emails or doing work when you're at your work desk. So remember the start, peak, end rule. And you always want to combine some sort of meditative exercise with those elements so that you clear your mind, set up the boundaries, and go into these experiences in a different mindset. Want to ask me your own question? Just go over to 2minutebrain.com and join the email list. At the moment, I'm personally answering people's questions pretty quickly, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on this channel. I'm happy to answer questions on mental health, such as stress, anxiety, mood, painful events, happiness, work-life performance, relationships, intimate, family, friends, kids, and of course the state of the world and why we do what we do. Before we continue, I want to explain what 2 Minute Brain is all about, because it's both as simple and not as simple as it seems. The first and most obvious goal is to offer the fastest and most practical methods to reduce mental health struggles and reach peak performance, so you can meet the demands of this often overwhelming and ultra-competitive modern world. The sad truth is, you do have to learn how to consistently be at your best, or you will be left behind. That's what these speed brain rewiring strategies are all about. These are the essential skills, but that's only the part of the iceberg that's above the surface. The second, much deeper goal is about members of this community reaching their highest forms of self-expression. Here, we are no longer talking about peak performance, but peak freedom. Good living is not just about productively functioning well. It's about wrestling with complex moral issues, paradoxical laws of nature, human contradiction, and seeking profound and immeasurable truths. This is where we dive deeply into the murky depths of existence and seek to free our self-expression. And in true 2 Minute Brain style, I'll also explore these topics just a couple minutes at a time via an impassioned monologue. So stick around if you want to spread your arms wide, crank up Celine Dion to volume 11, and safely explore rather than crash into the iceberg that is human consciousness and potential. We're nearing the end of today's session. Soon, I will summarize it all and get you focused on using what you have found most helpful in one final, fun, and fast meditative exercise. But before the finale, it's time for today's 2-minute monologue, which usually consists of a metaphorical poetic performance where I often intentionally don't give clear advice or answers. That will hopefully stimulate you to also explore and find your own deeper truths within and greater self-expressive courage. It's our 6th Frivolous Family Friday. Today's brief poetic monologue is titled Baby Dragon to Prince, and is our poetic piece on how to cope with a young child who you may struggle to have fall asleep. Baby Dragon to Prince. Pray. I did slay the baby dragon on this day. I chopped off his head by repeatedly putting him back in his bed. On this night, he would not rage and fly, but die by my soothing voice and gentle hand. The tyrant, all through the night, did persist, but eventually could not resist my palm rubbing his back and being cocooned within his firmly fastened sleeping sack. Each time he rose, so did I to meet force with finesse, cries with love, anger with calm, until the balm soothed the feast-obsessed beast. Milk, he roared, mama, he bemoaned, with a pitch savagely honed to pierce through walls and across halls into rooms to interrupt where slumber blooms. Alas, it was to no avail, for his wind was false and could not raise his sail, despite his wail and whine protruding forth like a vine, once divine and now supine. Fallen he has by the gentle sword of his lord and guardian master, who swore from his core an oath to bring peace from this spoiled insomnia riddled disaster. In all honesty, despite the loving courage shown in order to dethrone the tyrant, the demise of the dragon was a surprise. His regularly reopening eyes of cold blue fire did inspire doubt and an urge to shout and pout and bemoan his presence. But I did not yield, and raised my shield to counter the temptation of rage and to losingly fight fire with fire, but instead chose the higher ground in the ring. And from this vantage point, I did reanoint myself as king and sweetly coaxed him into slumber. As he fell before me for the final time, by his own volition, I felt cleansed like a man no longer accused of a crime and freed from the Inquisition. I was now in a position to shine and sheen and take back my rightful place beside the face of the Queen. With the rising of the sun, a prince emerged from his cocoon. If you're having fun, make sure you like and subscribe and follow this channel, and also go to 2minutebrain.com and join the email list. Now, let's bring all of it meaningfully together in an integrative exercise that will conclude today's session. Sit up tall, shoulders back, head up, and close or shield your eyes if safe to do so. Now listen and follow along closely. On this not so serious day, as you play, greet and meet, eye to eye, heart to heart, and impish smile to smile. Now consider what you learned today about how to avoid taking work pressures and anxieties home. Things like using the start, peak, end rule to structure your day for success. Set up boundaries and spaces to trigger greater calmness or energy, and use your calming meditations to separate from difficult events, or energizing meditations to enhance enjoyable situations. Or something else. Also now consider what you learned today about changing your point of view and narrative when dealing with an ongoing and difficult situation, like putting a child to bed, or any challenging person for that matter, and finding a sense of pride, enjoyment, and celebration when you stay strong and do it right. Or maybe now reflect on something else that occurred to you throughout our time together. Of all these things, what most struck a chord and feels right? Envision how you will use this now and in the future, and notice how you will have changed looking back on this moment and the next, all the way until you are where you wish to be. Allow all the lessons now to come together, to ripple through you, and now changed back out into the world. That's right. That's right. To connect with me and the community, just go to 2minutebrain.com and join the email list. You can, of course, like, rate, subscribe, and follow me on this channel, but to enjoy free giveaways like my best-selling books and programs, which are only available to subscribers through the website, and to personally ask me and get an answer to your own important psychology question, it must be through my free-to-join email list. Questions like, has culture been built on a foundation of exploitation of both nature and people? I'll answer that in the next session. And then questions all the way back from the Meditation for Anxiety series, episode 6. Why has the pandemic had such a negative effect? And why does happiness never last? Both of those were answered back then. The only way you will be able to ask me your question is by reply emailing me once you're on the list. The sooner you join, the more bonus goodies you'll get, like early access benefits to the 2-Minute Brain app currently in development that takes exercises like the one you just experienced and connects them sequentially with others into fantastic brain-flowing peak performance experiences. It will allow you to become your own mental health and peak performance DJ. Sound good? Really good? Almost too good? Then go sign up now and get all the latest updates from the 2minutebrain.com email list. And I'll see you, all of you, whether you believe it yet or not, in our next session.